What's going on, everybody? And welcome to the Diamond Standard YouTube channel at The Collector. This is going to be going into day number 13, game number 1. My rank is Solar Gold. Unfortunately, I forgot to film the first match. I got the very end screen, so I won. I will be headed into game number 2 with 1 win and no losses. I will have a rank of Solar Gold, and the match was 10 minutes and 8 seconds. I'll be playing against a war deck. I'm okay with this open. It's not my favorite, but I'm okay with this open. Gives me the opportunity to force him to play larger creatures or use something to get rid of them, because he will take that weapon and take the ping from the 2-1. Necroceptor, obviously a little bit of lag there in the recording. Still trying to decide the best move at this point. I head into knocking down the protected creature and just keep moving. He summons some of that front line, and that's a tough decision to go into. I decide to go wide because I will be able to ping it down basically in one turn if he doesn't destroy one of my zombies. And even if he destroys my zombies, I should be able to Pharaoh's Heirloom into him. And order of operation matters. That's why I ended up taking the zombie second, because then when we broke even and I knocked down his favor, that hopefully prevents him from using the Sanctum. He is getting a pretty wide front line, and then of course when he gets the Cunning Challenger to get Ward from his Tempt Fate, that is always pretty sick. I decide just to stay in large and wide is going to be the best way. I've got a little bit of a lead on him in terms of life, so taking a moment to think what his best decision is. His flank knocking down my zombie spawner was good, but that bought me a lot of opportunity kind of right here. Probably should have wanted to get rid of the Fickle Cambion. Then I am getting a couple of zombies out. He has a lot of protected out there, but I think I should be able to end the game at this point, basically. And he surrenders. Headed into game number 3 with 2 wins and 0 losses. Ranked Solar Gold, and this match is 12 minutes and 1 second. I speed these matches up to play them a little bit faster and to make it a more digestible, video. Of course, it's difficult to sit and watch 3 hours worth of Gods Unchained gameplay. He starts strong, but I start with a hand that I really like, being able to get the Necroceptor out there and keep it moving. There's a little bit of lag in the video here. And you miss a little bit of what's going on, but it comes around to me being with the Obelisk and the Necroceptor. He has a large creature, but I have a lot of heal. He ends up sacrificing the weapon he had, which was an interesting play. I decide to kill his creature and then Nether Swarm Lord, because that kind of makes his weapons effect that whenever he dies, it kills something, but then he used Carnage Sweep with his weapon, and that was huge, basically clearing my entire board. Super effective. It will be slow and steady to get my creatures back out. Unfortunately, that is a super good move on his part, and why this game takes so long. He cleared my board at the just right time. I'm still just trying to get as wide as possible so I can pull off a corpse explosion. and he is still just keeping my board basically as clear as possible. I'm saving my favor because I want the Bronze Servant. I certainly don't want him to be able to get rid of the Nether or the Necroscepter, but it could happen. He's certainly trying really hard to keep the board clear. That was perfect timing on the Vampiric Skull. Sometimes you get lucky and top deck something that just really helps get you there. He has a lot of control for a war deck, so this is an interesting run, no doubt. I pop out the Decaying Rhino because I know he will have trouble taking down something with that much health. And I believe he also knows at this point he is going to have trouble, and he lets his basically entire turn go just about. Of course, with a Fickle Cambion and a Decaying Rhino out at the same time, plus taking his favor as the overspawn from the Obelisk and Scepter happen, I am pretty sure that I will be able to Corpse Explosion for the win this next round, which is why the Bronze Servant didn't really matter. And that is GG. Headed into game number 4 with 3 wins and 0 losses. The match will be Solar Gold, and the actual playtime is 6 minutes and 20 seconds. It will be against a light deck. No doubt this is going to be an interesting matchup. The light deck plays fast. And then the video has a little bit of lag there, but I was behind just enough to uh, basically not let you miss anything. This is going to be a tough matchup with the Serene Blade because all of his creatures come out with +1/+1 and Ward, which Ragnarok luckily goes through the Ward. Getting out the Necroscepter, but he's got the armor and the front line, so he knows that he's going to prevent me from being able to put down a bunch of damage. I basically want to wait until he plays everything in his hand out before I Ragnarok. That way I'm able to clear all of the warded creatures. I drop the Nether Swarm Lord because I want to use him as a form of distraction so he doesn't just swing out on me. He tries to take my creatures out. If he just swings out on me, it would be really hard to come back. And he comes up with a fairly creative way to basically keep his board and clear mine. At this point, I'm pretty sure there's nothing I'll be able to do. But as always, play it all the way out because I pretty much have seen where you never know what could happen. And in fact, he does end it. So headed into game number 5 with 3 wins and 1 loss. My rank will be Solar Gold and the actual game time is 5 minutes and 58 seconds against another War deck. War decks are always a decent matchup because we tend to have just a little bit better mid-range. And as we see, he's got the Skulkin Valkyrie out here. I usually want to keep that clear, but I decided to just go wide and see what he's able to do. Of course, he is able to clear that and then leaves a Tavern Brawler out there. He thought that my kill was gone, so he dropped the Protected. At this point, he surely thinks my hand is as clear as possible, but I just keep top decking just about perfect kill spells. So, of course, Ragnarok, followed by playing my creature. He thinks my hand is empty at this point, but of course, that was the perfect play. I clear, or I'm able to hit basically his entire board and just about clear him out. I go for the card draw instead of playing out the ping and just dealing damage to him. He top decks a really good card, and I get lucky to draw into a Necroscepter. He gets super beefy, and at this point, I don't know if I will be able to clear his front line, but I try. And in fact, I was not able to, and he wins. Headed into game number 6 with 3 wins and 2 losses, rank of Solar Gold, and a match time of 8 minutes and 4 seconds. Playing against a War deck. This is a solid matchup. I start with not a great opening hand. I have lots of control, but not lots of damage I'm able to put down. I want to Ragnarok the Warden so that hopefully by the time I am ready to get the Nether Swarm Lord out, I will be able to have something going on. I luckily top deck a Necroscepter, and I clear his Warden and ping him to get 2/2/2s out there. And he buffs that Axewoman up and decides going for blood is the way to play. It is a pretty good decision, no doubt. I go for clearing his board, and he is still ahead of me at this point. I'm not really positive what the best move is, and I decide to just try to make him make decisions about clearing my board, and that's what he does. He's wide and has a lot of power. I want to clear up as much of his creatures as I can to not let him win. This is where it gets really narrow. He can go to kill me, but if he does, he may provide my Fickle Cambion with the power to win. He is able to clear the Fickle Cambion, but that evens us up. Nether Swarm Lord, followed by pinging him and getting some draw. He has me low, and unfortunately, I'm not sure if I'll have the damage to win here. So I just clear his board and try to keep getting wide to make a comeback. He hits me for 3 and surrenders because he is not able to do it. So headed into game 7 with 4 wins and 2 losses, a rank of Solar Gold, and a match time of 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Another War deck. Always a good matchup, so I'm not too disappointed when this happens. My opening hand is decent. It is taking him a moment to decide what the best course of action is, and then we catch up. I put it right back in his hands, and it is a decent run if I've seen one. An Olympian deck with ally, always a strong hand, always a strong open. I decide Decaying Rhino, I want to get ahead of him and be as strong as possible. He knows at this point he needs to be wide. I kill his large creature and then just continue to clear his board as best as possible. And then ping him so that my Decaying Rhino doesn't lose any health. He plays a creature that buffs other creatures. I clear that. I get some zombie spawn out there. I know at this point it's going to be a risk because he may be able to deliver a lot of damage in a very short period of time. And he clears my board heavily. And then he gets the board clear, but he just plays an Olympian that buffs super large anyway. I try to play some front line to prevent him from just getting straight to me, but he's able to clear that and end it. So headed into game number 8 with 4 wins and 3 losses, still in Solar Gold. This match is 5 minutes and 35 seconds. Against a nature deck, going to be a decent matchup for me. Nature can be one of those decks that overruns very quickly. I try to take the early lead with board control, and I am able to clear his Wild Hog. He plays the Moonlight Charm to grow his creatures larger. I get Necroscepter out, and then he has a ginormous creature that will be just difficult for me to clear at all. I'm just hoping he doesn't lightning strike the Decaying Rhino at this point. He's in fact able to clear the decaying rhino and then clear another creature, and his regen would have been enough to save his creature, and in fact was. At that point, I likely should have pinged it and Wicked Fade if I had the opportunity, but I did not. At this moment, waiting to catch up, and we can see that it is possible that he is going to overrun me with a giant creature I am unable to clear. And I know he will do enough damage to end the game, but I always make them finish it. So he beats me with that. I'm headed into game 9 with 4 wins and 4 losses, a rank of Solar Gold. This match will be 8 minutes and 1 second. A war matchup is a pretty good turnout for me. He comes out quick with the Skulkin Valkyrie and pumping it up. I have a Voracious Fiend in hopes of being able to ping him when I get my Necrosceptor out. He does not let that happen. He gets pretty wide, and I decide to Ragnarok him and clear his board while simultaneously having two 2/2 healers. The Challenger with the Tempt Fate. He clears the board up pretty good. And we power through. We try to get the Nether Swarm Lord out, but with no avail. I decide to go wide before I summon the Nether Swarm Lord again. And of course, he misplayed that and he did not get the blitz out of it. I am able to get to him with a bunch of zombies. The overkill is pretty nice for him, but at this point I am not in bad shape. I clear the overkill because I know that will help me and I damage him. At this point it is still a race because he will be dealing damage to himself. At this point I know I'm in pretty rough shape because I would have to just about clear his entire board to prevent him from winning, but I still want to try. Nether Swarm Lord into pumped up zombies is always good. And at that, I know he wins. So headed into game number 10 with 4 wins and 5 losses. It will be a Solar Gold match and 4 minutes and 34 seconds. It will be against a Mage deck, and we know that they are going to have a good chance against me. And I start out with a Voracious Fiend. It's going to be an Echo Caster combo. He has a nifty background, but we think we stand a pretty strong chance. He's playing some cool old cards, which are always fun to see. Of course, at this point, I know I'm outrunning him at least a little bit. I am keeping him controlled and trying to put down as much damage as possible because I want to be able to Corpse Explosion next turn if possible, and if he clears some of my board, I want another Swarm Lord. He tries to keep drawing cards, and at this point, I know I just need to ping him and try to end it. He'll have a hard time clearing 2 rhinos, and so if I hit with the rhinos and then Corpse Explosion, I'll win. And in fact, he surrenders before I can. So my overall results are 5 wins and 5 losses. I earn 9.426 gods, and my end rank is Solar Gold. Thank you for watching, and if you would please like, subscribe, and comment, I would greatly appreciate it.